Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candidly with Coffee.
Just like that, we are back.
We're here again.
Again.
It's crazy to me that, we just hit this record button and just start talking.
Just start jaw-jacking.
Crazy when you, stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you overthink it, I think you'd be like, oh, my God, what am I going to say? What do I do? You know what I mean?
That's why I think a lot of people have a hard time doing this.
Yeah.
Overthinking.
I think that people think it's easier than it is.
Everybody always thinks that.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be off topic, but they think the same thing in fighting. They see these fights and people throwing kicks and punches. Like, I think I could do that. Like, no.
No, all it takes, though, is to do it one time.
Yes.
And then you realize, like, oh, shoot, that's hard.
Yes.
You
like somebody tried to do cold showers like I've been doing almost 3 months. They tried it. Oh, it wasn't that bad. I said, how was it the second, third, and fourth day? Oh, I only did it once.
I told you that. I just told you that. I said that the first time you do something that's difficult is easier than the second time.
Yes. And why is that?
Because you know what to expect.
Yes. Because the brain has fight or flight. And a lot of times the brain wants to flight, wants to run. It's like it knows. It's like, let's not do that.
Speaking of which, another fighting analogy, didn't you tell me that in fighting, once you get knocked out, you always are more susceptible to knocking out. The brain remembers.
And it shuts off to protect you. That's true.
Yeah.
You see it happen to a lot of, you see it in aging fighters when they're fighting too long and they start getting knocked out continuously. It's like, their chin, we call that your chin is gone. Like you need to retire or you need to take a long break and let your brain heal. Mm-hmm. You see guys barely get touched and get knocked out. Like, oh, that's bad.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's like a defense mechanism, but it could be it's like a bad thing.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. So I got my Botox on Thursday. Did it kick in yet?
Yeah, it's
a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
You know that Botox takes like a week, but I feel like it's starting to kick in, but I still can move it.
Do I need Botox?
No.
I got wrinkles.
No, but I know, but I don't think it would look right.
It looks weird on men, huh?
You look like a psycho, like too aware. I don't know. I think it. No,
I'm joking. I'm not doing it.
Absolutely not. But I did Botox and a lip flip. So they do a little bit right at the Cupid's bow, and then it makes your lip appear bigger rather than filler. Like I don't know how it works, but it does work.
Yeah, look pretty.
Does it look a little bigger?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting is you don't care at all about me doing stuff like that. You know that so many husbands, they're so bothered by their wives doing stuff.
How many surgeries have you done? I never said nothing.
I mean,
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, you're right.
But a
lot of husbands ain't supportive.
It's weird because when, my first marriage, my husband was not a fan. I had to do, I would hide. And see what I mean? It makes you dishonest because I would hide and do stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do stuff even more.
Yes.
But I would have to hide. So like if he would go out of town, I would go do something. Then I'd freak out that he was going to notice.
Man. You know what? This is what I feel. Like if you're with a woman and she has natural boobs, you got to understand, once she gets that enhancement, yes, there's going to be more eyes on her. Because yes, naturally do men gravitate looking at women's boobs because it's right there. But if you're confident, I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me. I don't think of it like that. You know what I mean?
I get it with the boob job because it's a little bit more like, that's going to draw attention.
Yeah.
But who's going to draw? It's not going to draw attention to me if I get some wrinkles removed off my forehead.
No.
But I still don't think I just don't understand why some people don't support their spouse. And it goes both ways. If they want to do something that's going to make them feel better.
Right.
It's like, what does that tell you about that person or how they really feel about you if they want to keep you feeling bad about something?
Exactly.
I don't know. To me now, and the funny thing is now that I have free reign pretty much because you wouldn't stop me from doing anything, I'm more conservative. Isn't it funny?
That's like you got with me. I was tatted up, but not like I am now.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
You didn't even have your chest tattoos. These.
I didn't even have those?
No.
So see, that's you. If you would have stopped me in my tracks, I wouldn't have a whole suit.
Right.
They'd be like, "Oh no, that's too much. Oh no, I didn't sign up for this. Sign up for what? It's my body.
The
it's
funny
me."
thing is you just got a new tattoo on your hand.
Yeah.
And you asked me after the tattoo, by the way, he goes, what do you think? Do you like this? Or do you think it's too much? And I'm like, well, you already got it. So what does it matter? Number one. Number 2, would it even matter if I said, no, don't do that? Would it matter? Would you not do it? That's a good question. If I said, don't tattoo your hands, you would say what? You would probably ask me why. Why
Probably
not?
Why? Yeah. Probably why not?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, people would say, well, for employment reasons.
Yeah, because you could at least wear a long sleeve shirt and cover it up.
Yeah.
But now it's not like that anymore. It's
Babe,
not taboo anymore.
There's police officers that are sleeved and tattooed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's a FedEx dude. I forgot where I see him. Where was I? And he walked in. His face, everything, neck. And I looked. I go, dude, that's dope. They didn't discriminate. He goes,
Yeah,
I've been working for the company for years. He was blasted on his face, neck, everything.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's good. But
it's ink. It's ink in your skin. It just represents who you are. It's not a thug or a criminal. I think back in the days, yes, it was gang members, prison guys, and sailors. Yeah, for sure.
It was a stigma. So it was just funny that you asked me that, and I'm like, well, what does it matter? I do remember.
But you knew I was going to get my hand tattooed. We talked about it. We talked about it before I got it done.
Yeah, like I was fine with it. You would have known if I did it, but I don't think. But I wouldn't even. Here's the thing. It's like I wouldn't even think to say.
We don't try to control each other.
Why would it matter? It doesn't impact me if you have ink on your hand.
I know.
It doesn't impact me in any way.
It's a control thing. You know, some people, your spouse, some spouses are like that. They just love to dominate or control the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just made me really think because I'm thinking like, why would, there's certain things I understand. I know wives get a bad rap a lot of times, and we're going to talk about that because it's funny. Like, let me check with my wife.
Yes, you know.
There are certain things I get because financial or time commitments or committing to, signing them up to go do something that they may not want to do, checking with your spouse. But certain things I just don't get, like, it's, you sure communicate with them and let them know what you're doing, but don't ask permission because why would you need permission to do something to your body that doesn't impact them?
Since we've been together, you've never asked me permission. You just do.
I know.
Babe, I'm going to do my Botox. Babe, I'm going to do my lips. Cool. All right.
But I do think that wives get a bad rap because husbands a lot of times use their wives as a crutch to get out of things. I've heard you do it before.
You did?
Yes, you have done that. Like, oh man, my wife. No, I got to check with my wife. I've got some plans with my wife or something. You've done that before.
Probably. I probably have.
But they do that.
Yeah.
Right?
To get out of something.
You showed me a funny text message where someone was doing a car transaction.
Yeah.
And they were negotiating a price. And then they finally like settled on a price. And then the guy goes, okay, let me just check with my wife. And the guy goes, okay, that's done. I'll never hear from you again.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say that, it's kind of an out. You shouldn't even get to the point of negotiating or talking prices unless you're going to pull the trigger.
Right. And then you settle on something, then you shouldn't say, okay, let me get back to you. Like if you're negotiating and you throw a number out and then the person accepts. I had that happen in a brand deal, actually.
Yeah.
We were negotiating and then we negotiated a different rate that was lower. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I agreed to it. And then they go, okay, let me check with the such and such and I'll get back to you. I'm like, no, forget it. No, offers off the table now.
I'm talking to the wrong person. Yeah. You're not the person. When they do that, I have to go, you're the wrong person. I'm talking to the wrong person.
Well, for me, I'm like, okay, offers off the table.
That's it.
It's only valid because we've settled it right now.
Yes.
If now I have to wait, no, I'm going to fill my calendar with something else.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Give me a label. I'm sending this shit back.
Yeah. These brands, sometimes they need to humble themselves, thinking like they're all bigger than what they are. Like, yo, you need to humble yourself.
It's crazy. Anyways, but I do think that although I do feel that there are men that legitimately have to check with their wives on every little thing or they get in trouble, I do also feel like men use it as a scapegoat.
Yeah, probably so. They want to get out of things or unsure. Of course.
Yeah.
It's like a fallback.
For sure.
I mean, but some things out of respect, like getting a dog, a living animal.
Oh, that's different.
You know, yeah.
That's because that's impacting. Yeah. Like we had to discuss it.
That's impact, exactly.
We had to have a discussion.
Yes.
When it was time to get, our new dogs.
Yes.
And specifically with Phoebe, it was because by all intents and purposes, the timing was bad. We just got another new dog. It was probably not a good idea. You had every reason and could have convinced me not to get her because there was good solid reasons not to do it. But we did it anyway.
It's never the perfect time, right?
Yeah, but it was, and it wasn't until I had her in my arms that first day where I thought, yes, this was the right decision. Up until I had her in my arms, I had like this like anxiety about it. Even leading up to going and getting her, whatever. I had so much anxiety about it. Like, is this the right move? I just lost Karma.
Am I being impulsive?
Yeah, like I was very not sure. But that was a perfect example of, look, we had to communicate it out. We had to be on the same page. I would never have done that if you were like, look, you can do it, but I don't agree with it. Because that's the worst you would do. You would never just say, no, can't do it. But you would say, you can go, you could do it, but I'm not really 100% on board, which is the same thing I would do. If you were doing something completely, it's not like I would say you can't do it. You're a grown ass man. I think it's ridiculous to be able to say like, give someone like permission as an adult to do something.
Permission slip.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like I've always said.
It's all about communicating and respect. That's it. I'm not the best communicator, but for the most part, we communicate.
Yeah. And my thing is, look, if you're going to I'm never going to tell you not to do things. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to go out. I'm not going to tell you, you can't go here, you can't do that. But if you start doing things that I repeatedly don't agree with, they don't align with the things I want my husband to be doing, then that's a different problem.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with that I'm allowing it, so therefore I now have to stop allowing it. It really has more to do with the fact that you can do anything you want, and so you do all the things. It says a lot more when you can do anything you want and you don't.
True. Like hanging out, like say, for instance, I'm an example, like, hey babe, I'm gonna go out hang out at the bar with the boys tonight. Just the boys. I'm like, okay, fine. You won't object to it. It's one time. Right. But if I start doing it like repeatedly every weekend, like, whoa, wait, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's all about
what are we doing?
Patterns, it's behaviors, it's stuff like that, not the actual event.
Same thing, like when you want to go to dinner with your cousins or friends or whoever, like, hey, babe, have fun, go.
Yeah.
I've never been like, like, no, you can't, or fight you. I think that's dumb.
It is. It's not I don't think it's not good.
No.
It is not good. That is not a healthy relationship if you feel like you have to ask permission.
Because they might rebel and do something that they're gonna deeply regret too.
Yeah.
So careful with that. It's a fine line with that, right? Between love and hate.
Oh, the thin line between love and hate. And that is more true
than scary.
It's so true, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, okay, moving on. I wanted to show you these candles I got. So I got a package from someone that I used to work for. So his dad owned a restaurant called Dairy Bell. Mm-hmm. And as teenagers, Lisa and I worked there, had the best memories working there. And we've kept in touch over the years, but he's got this company.
Yeah.
So he sent me this package kind of like out of nowhere. We had talked about it a while back, but aren't they cool? Yeah. They make this. This is him and his girlfriend own the company. It's called Rencarie. I'll put the website in the description. They smell so good. So they're clean burning candles, but the vessel is cement.
That's dope.
This is hand poured like cement.
Yeah, solid.
So when the candle is done, you can actually repurpose this. Like, so this could be like a little ketchup holder, like ketchup or sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can repurpose the vessel.
Yes, you clean it after, right?
Yeah, you clean it and repurpose
cool.
it. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to show you that because I thought that was cool, and I love to support a small business. They do some cool stuff. So they have like these tabletop fire pits.
Oh, really?
How cool is that?
Tabletop?
It's like a tabletop fire pit.
Oh,
so you put it on the table, and it's like a little fire pit. You can roast marshmallows,
really?
Whatever.
That's cool.
They have that, and they do like gift baskets and stuff like that. So some cool stuff. But thank you. I should say Ron, because that's what he always signs his name as Ron. But I knew him as Ronnie. So it's like I cannot call him Ron. So thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it. That was really nice.
Right on,
and we love candles. And they smell really good. I have to say, sometimes the clean candles, the homemade candles are not strong enough scented for me, even though I know they're better for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I lit one right away in the fireplace, and it smelled up that whole room.
It did.
I love this one. This one is like going to go in the bathroom because it smells like a spa. Doesn't it?
It does.
I love it.
Bathroom candle. Anyways,
thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Okay, moving on to the hot coffee topic. This is going to be an unpopular opinion because I know A lot of people love it, but
oh well.
Let's talk about Disneyland super fans.
Ooh.
What is up with the phenomenon of adult Disneyland phenomenon? Adults that love Disney.
Yes.
What is up with that?
Because you took me as an adult.
Yeah.
With your
but
kids.
I took you because I had my kids.
Yes.
It was a family trip.
Yeah. And I never had gone. And you're like, well, at least you get to experience it as an adult. I mean, it was cool, but for me, it's a one and done.
No, and I think for you, I can understand. So basically, what I want to talk about is there was this guy who just got entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. He is an adult man. Okay. He went to Disneyland 2,995 days in a row.
It's like 10 years in a row.
The only reason it stopped is because Disneyland closed during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it stopped. So he's now in the Guinness Book of World Records. But my question is this: why?
Yeah.
Why are there these adult super fans of Disneyland? They go crazy over it. They go constantly.
Now, do we know, are these mostly men? I'm just curious.
No, they're
Both?
not actually. But
okay.
That's what I go to.
Yeah.
You know what you have to fear? It's sad this day and age.
I hate to say, yeah.
Places that attract children
yes.
also attract pedophiles.
Yes. We got to address the uncomfortable conversation in the room, but it's here. It's in our face,
right.
and it's
so that's
rampant.
what I've always thought of. But listen, I am not saying if you are a fan of Disney that means you're a pedophile. I'm just saying
no.
It's a scary thing to know that when you're at Disneyland, you could be amongst pedophiles because that's where they go. They go to the Girl Scouts. They go to the amusement parks.
Yes.
They go to those types of things so they can be surrounded by their obsession, right? Which is children. But my thing is, why? So then I started to think about it because I like to look at both sides. I do think it's a little odd when adults are obsessed with Disneyland when they go without children.
Yeah.
I personally can relate to going with kids and getting excited about it because you see the joy
for them
that it gives the kids.
Yes, so it makes you happy for them.
Then I try to flip the coin. Why else would adults without kids want to go to Disneyland? And then I started thinking, well, when I go, for me, it does bring a lot of warm, nostalgic feelings because for me, I have memories of Disneyland with my family.
You do, yeah.
So I have that too. So I have that nostalgia and warm family memories. Plus, I like to go with like my kids when they were younger. I took them several times, or I would go with my nieces and I would enjoy it through their eyes. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would want to just go all by myself as an adult. Yeah.
If you told me, hey, babe, let's go to Disneyland, I'd be like, yeah, no. I'm cool. Universal Studios, yes.
And for you, the joy, you don't have that joy because you didn't go to Disneyland. I took you for your first time in your 40s.
Yes. So it was cool. It was an experience, but it wasn't, I don't know, maybe a lot of people are going to be like, God, that guy doesn't know. Listen, it just didn't do nothing for me. I'm sorry. I grew up going to Great America, Santa Cruz. So those are my amusement parks that I grew up going to.
Yeah.
That's what my family could afford.
Santa Cruz is actually more nostalgic for me than Disneyland because we went a lot.
Yeah, that's in our backyard.
We went
especially in your backyard. You're closer to Santa Cruz.
So many good memories. And you know what I have to say? Why we were blessed as a family? My mom worked for the company Kellogg's. I know you guys know Eggo Waffles, Kellogg's. She worked there for 35 years or something like that. They did the best annual family picnic. And so we always got to go to the boardwalk, Great America, Raging Waters. As a family. And she could get unlimited tickets. So we would go, all of us would go, and we would have so much fun. So that was always once a year family thing. Yeah. So, when I can understand when it's those things, they bring back the nostalgia. But I can't comprehend it otherwise. So Great America's nostalgic for me. I grew up going as a kid. Loved it. How many times have you and I gone since we were together? Have we ever gone?
I think maybe once.
Maybe.
See?
Not to say that I wouldn't like once in a while. Like I understand, like I would go to Disneyland, like with say I would go with like Alyssa and like my cousin and her girls and like a girls thing, and you wear the ears and you make a day of it.
Maybe even your nieces one day.
Yes, I would go. But what I'm talking about, like these Disneyland super fans, they go like every weekend. And let me tell you this, Disneyland is freaking expensive.
Yeah. Nothing's cheap there.
It is. if you were to take like a family of 4 on a trip to Disneyland, you're going to spend thousands of dollars, especially if you have to travel there. It is not a cheap vacation. You could go out of the country, like Mexico, at an all-inclusive resort that has water slides and for half the price.
Yes.
But I also think sometimes Disneyland, the idea of Disneyland sounds so much better than the actual reality of it. Mm-hmm. And what's captured in pictures and the hindsight memories is so much better than the reality. Although I will have to say, because I don't want to be a hypocrite here, so I'm going to come clean. I went as an adult with my siblings. Remember when we did that?
You guys did do that.
We did. We took my brother.
For your brother.
For his 50th birthday.
Uh-huh.
That was 7 years ago now. Jeez, because he just turned 57. And then we talked about we're going to go when I'm 50. And that was truly, purely a nostalgia trip because it was like a way for us to feel like kids again and the way we felt when our parents took us. And we really did have a great time and made memories like to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
So those scenarios I get. I just don't get the obsessiveness of going every day. It's like an addiction of some sort. It's giving you endorphins and you're addicted to the endorphins and you're going a lot.
Yeah. A place where there's a lot of kids too.
So I understand. I mean, I guess I get it. I get it from both sides, but to me, it's like, it seems a little extreme for some.
Me too.
Some people will literally use up every last spare penny they have to support their Disneyland addiction.
That's like if I had love Great America so much, I go in every weekend.
I would think that's weird.
Why? You'd be like, babe, every weekend to Great America?
Those of you guys who don't know, Great America is another amusement park, but it's not like Disneyland status.
No.
But it makes you realize why is it not ridiculous? It's like, what if you decided suddenly you wanted to go like every week? I would think something's wrong with you.
I mean, when you think of these places, I think of it's a theme parks for kids. Yes, adults can go because their parents or whatnot. And sometimes maybe adults want to go ride the rides. I don't. I'm done with that. I don't want to ride no rides.
Yeah, I like some rides. Like the Universal rides, like the attractions,
that's
like
different.
the
Universal
experiences.
Studios. Yeah, that's different. Those rides are different. They're not what do you call it? What's the word? Roller coasters.
Yeah.
They're different. They're screens. You are in a little like a roller coaster, but it ain't the same. It ain't as extreme. That's what I'm saying. Last time we took your kids to Magic Mountain as adults,
we got what happened was we got the front of line VIP service, which was a bad idea. Lines are a good thing. It's not good to ride the roller coaster without having to wait in line and to be able to go twice. Dude, remember? We were so sick. So sick.
Yeah, because it throws your equilibrium off. You're not conditioned.
That's Superman. That's Magic Mountain has this one roller coaster. It's like the Superman or something.
No, one that, remember, we're upside down, like a corkscrew.
It was absolute.
Your head, side to side,
horrific.
Your stomach feels, we couldn't even, remember we tried to eat after and felt like we wanted to throw up? Yeah, no.
It was absolutely horrible.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I'm over my amusement park days. Raging Waters I'll do though. Water slides I love. Those are my favorite.
Again, those are like normal. You go once a year, entertainment type thing. That's not what I'm saying when I'm questioning why. It's the super fans, the people that go 3,000 days in a row.
And these are adults.
Yeah.
I guess they're just reliving their childhood. I don't know.
And fun fact about Disneyland, it is not a walk in the park, no pun intended, to work there. It's very strict. They have very weird rules, very strict. You know, sometimes those types of things, I feel sad for the people who they want to go behind the curtain because they love it so much. So a lot of Disneyland super fans, they'll like go work there or something like that. And then they realize like, oh, it's not like attending. It's a lot different. That's how I felt about Vegas.
Yeah, you told me that.
Oh my gosh. So I had this contract deal to work in Las Vegas and it was like a finance position. So it was a boring job there. But, you know, you get to see what it's like behind the fancy casino walls. And you're literally like in a concrete jungle back there. It's you'd be surprised because it's for as like high technology as some areas are, everything is like bottom of the barrel, like ugly mismatched desks and cement walls and no windows. You're like in the basements. You're like in between the walls and the basement of the casino.
Unhealthy.
They put you in the dungeon.
That's so unhealthy.
Oh, it was so
no
awful.
window, no fresh air,
No.
no light. I would hate to work in that environment.
And this was this one particular casino, which was the Venetian. I have no problem calling them out because they have a beautiful casino.
Yes.
And behind closed doors, it's horrific. Okay.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this. Like I almost had like a panic attack.
I know. I remember you were kind of like,
no. And
I told you, I
then,
said, if you can't.
no, I'll be completely honest with what happened. So it was a good contract I was going to get, whatever. And I thought I was in the clear because, you know, they fingerprint you. They do facial recognition. They do this thing where they make sure that you're not like a gambler, that you don't frequent casinos. They do a crazy extensive background check, which was all fine. Yeah. But the last piece of it was a drug test, which I thought was fine. I hadn't done anything, you know, in a long time. I used to smoke weed, but it had been months. Yeah. I did it recreationally. Yeah. This is years ago, so it was still illegal. I think it wouldn't matter. They still probably drug test for it. I know. But their drug test that they wanted me to take was they wanted to pull hair follicles.
But so it could trace back 6 months, I believe.
It traces back far, and I thought, I can't do that because once I didn't want to fail it, because if you fail it,
you're in the system of some sort.
You're in the system, and then if I ever wanted a job there or something, you just never know where the world takes you.
Never know.
You do not want to be in the system with the Clark County as like failing a drug test. So I thought, you know what? And because I didn't feel good about the vibe anyway, I was having the panic attack, the concrete jungle, the weird vibes, the bad moods.
Plus, I wasn't going to be there with you. You have to be there
I was
on your own,
by
in
myself.
A hotel.
They do put you up in the hotel, which is nice, and you get room service, stipend, and all of that. But it was like a long period of time I was going to be stuck there by myself. So I was already not happy about that. And then I was like, oh, this is my out. I'm like, I'm just going to say I have a family emergency and it's not going to work out, which is what I did because I didn't think I would have passed it.
And you know what's crazy is fast forward to today, weed is actually recreational legal there in Vegas now. So
yeah, I don't think they would.
No, they can't. How can you discriminate when something is state law where it's legal? Yeah. You're allowed to, as an adult, to smoke weed. As long as you're not operating machinery. Yeah. I don't know how the casinos
I don't know how that works, but
yeah.
So I didn't. So I went home. I called you. I'm like, I'm coming home.
Yeah. Oh, come on. It is what it is.
I was there for like 3 or 4 days, but I was already homesick and miserable, so it was meant to be.
Yeah. Vegas is people think it's all glamorous and glitz.
Terrible.
It's a dangerous place, especially for a woman out there alone.
Yeah.
I'd have to worry about, you're in the casino, but at some point in time, you got to step outside that casino. Either go get yourself some fresh clothes, maybe some groceries for the room. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you had a friend out there who was a little slick, I thought.
Yeah, trying to be.
A little inappropriate, going, since you're going to be here, you can hang out at my house. I have a pool. I'm like, that's odd. Why would I go hang out at your house? Like I'm with your friend. Because you were just my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks. Anyways, okay, moving on. We are moving on because I want to talk about, let's talk first about a question I got from somebody on my TikTok. And it was a question where I was talking about macros. I was talking about like hormone weight gain and macros, a calorie deficit still works, tracking macros. And she commented and said, if I refuse to count calories, how do I know how much I should eat?
If I refuse to count calories, how much?
How do I know how much to eat if I refuse to count calories? And you know what? Like
it's almost like saying, how much are my bills every month and how much do I need to make to cover my bills? I mean, you got to kind of know.
Yeah, that's like saying, how do I pay my bills if I don't make enough money? Or if I don't know how much money I'm bringing in? How do I make sure my bills are paid if I don't know how much money I make?
Yeah.
How can I ensure my bills are paid? You can't.
Can't.
That's what I said. You can't insure it because she said, how do I know? How do I make sure? You can throw some pasta at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But you're always going to be guessing. And I just thought it was an interesting thing, especially her choice of words. If I refuse, I mean, by all means.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you, but if you're not, it's kind of just a silly question because yes, you will always be guessing.
What do we always keep saying? People always try to do this.
Go around it.
You got to go through
candle demo.
You can't go through it. You have to go through it. You're trying to cheat the game, is what my example.
I just don't understand why. Here's the thing. Yes. Is there ways to be in a deficit without counting calories? Yes, but you just can't be sure that you're always in a deficit.
Yep.
Yes, there's tricks. If you eat more protein, you might be fuller, so you might just hopefully eat less. If you intermittent fast, you'll have less time, a small time window to get your food in, so hopefully you'll eat less than you're burning.
Mm-hmm.
But again, over time, those kind of things stop working.
Yeah.
And you start eating more in your fasting window. Yep. Or, if you work out, so you're trying to create the deficit by exercising, that doesn't work. We talked about it last week because then you'll eat more.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just going to do HIIT workouts because when you do HIIT workouts, you burn a lot of calories in a short period of time. Guess what? HIIT workouts make you hungry.
Very hungry.
If you are doing HIIT workouts and not tracking calories, you're going to eat more.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
It's the truth.
And just like with people, so many people will come back to me and say, no, well, I know you say calorie deficits work, but they didn't work for me. My calorie deficit didn't work for me. We just talked about this last week, but I think it's funny with the whole Ozempic talk or weight loss surgery talk, because I had someone who had weight loss surgery who also told me the same thing.
Uh-huh. What'd they say?
See, calorie deficit never worked for me.
Uh-huh.
But the weight loss surgery worked.
Let's break this down. Yeah, we're going to break this down.
If the weight loss surgery worked, that means all those other times you thought you were in a calorie deficit, you weren't in a calorie deficit. Because guess what? A weight loss surgery, all it's doing is making it so that you have to be in a deficit because you literally physically cannot eat very much.
Yep.
So it forces a deficit. Same thing with Ozempic. So if someone says like, I heard a Real Housewife of New Jersey. She was on a podcast, Margaret. Mm-hmm. She had lost weight, so someone asked her like, "Oh, are you taking Ozempic?" She's like, "Well, I'm taking peptides."
Peptides.
It's basically an Ozempic, and then they mix in some other B12 and some other stuff because people don't like to say Ozempic. They like to say peptides. I'm taking some peptides because you know what? A calorie deficit has never worked for me, but this works. This only works. It's not a miracle drug. It only works because it's now making you not want to eat. So you're eating less. So you're in a calorie deficit. So what you're saying is you were never in a calorie deficit before. It drives me insane when people say the calorie deficit didn't work, but Ozempic works. Calorie deficit didn't work, but weight loss surgery works. No.
Does it drive you crazy as a coach that people want this magic answer and they looked at you like, maybe she'll give me the answer I'm searching for? No, sorry. There's no magic. There's no fuckery. Sorry, to get around this. You have to do the work.
And the thing
they want a magic answer. And they're asking these questions. They kind of already know the answer, but they're hoping something will be a little different. Like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah, maybe there's something a little different. Maybe if they're doing this, that, it's fasting. That's the answer. Oh, it's these magical ketone drinks. That's the answer. It's this gel. No.
It's Sono Bello.
No. But you know what? You have to be.
It's this. It's that.
I was thinking about this recently because I'm doing a few different things right now. I'm doing like a treatment for my hair because I have actually diagnosed alopecia. So I'm doing a prescription treatment for my hair to grow back. I'm doing skincare, anti-aging skincare regimen. I'm doing all of these different things, right? Any one of these things that I'm doing, like for the prescription for the hair, it's forever. If I grow back my hair taking a prescription and then I stop taking the prescription, the hair will fall out.
Start falling out.
Okay. It's not a cure. It's just, you have to do it forever.
Yeah.
The skincare, if you're doing anti-aging skincare stuff or whatever, and that makes your skin look better. And you're like, oh my gosh, yes, it looks better. Guess what? If I stop doing it, skin will go right back.
Right.
It's not a forever solution unless I'm willing to do it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Hair loss treatments, supplements, anything like that, Ozempic, those are forever types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the results you get doing any one of those things will not be sustainable if you stop doing those things.
It's like working out. People think, when I get the body I want, oh, I want to lose the weight or this or that, I'm all set. No, this is a lifestyle. We do this forever.
Yeah, it's forever.
This is forever.
So if you hate it, that's not your forever. You haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I recommend, honestly, if you are right now in a regimen that you know that you cannot sustain, even if you've achieved results doing that regimen, it's very, very important that you try to sidestep out of it into something that you think you can sustain forever. And hopefully you can sustain your results if you're smart about it.
Yeah.
But you need to ask yourself, this fitness regimen I'm doing, can I do it forever? Mm-hmm. If not, what I recommend to you is try some different things.
And it doesn't have to be, when we say fitness and working out, I think people's assumption is they think weights. It could be walking, jogging, Stairmaster. You could do balance, flexibility. You could do yoga. That's the type of training.
That's what I'm saying.
You find what you like.
If they're doing something they don't like right now, you need to venture out. Pilates, spin class.
Kickboxing is fun. A lot of women love When I was a trainer, women love kickboxing. Mm-hmm. Why? They want to let out those pent-up emotions. They love to hit things. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable. So I would mix that up, kickboxing with the resistance training and core training and balance. Make it fun. Try to make the workouts fun, not boring.
There's like these classes, like F45 classes. There's a box house. It's like a boxing type. Mm-hmm. There's hot yoga. There's so many different things. Don't just count things out like, oh, I would never like doing that. Because you really need to find something that you truly enjoy doing if you have the expectation that you need to do it forever.
Mm-hmm. Like yoga. I used to look at yoga like, I never do yoga. What's yoga do for you? Man, yoga's so good for you. Oh,
and it's fine if you don't have to do the particular thing forever. So say you get into Pilates for a while, you start to burn out. Fine, no problem. Anticipate that burnout and start figuring something else out. I remember I did that. That's when I started Orange Theory. I was burning out on just like the traditional weightlifting and cardio sessions. I would do my 30 minutes of cardio, then I would do my weights. I was burning out.
You're going through the motions.
Yeah, and I started to feel I was burning out. I'm like, oh, this is not good. I need to find something quickly before I fall off. Mm-hmm. So I just plugged in something else to help. And then if, I ever burn out there, I'll find something else. I'll do Pilates or I'll try Barry's Boot Camp or so many different things. Mm-hmm. But you need to find something. It's kind of like, I've heard people say that like, oh, but when you stop working out, you lose all your muscle. Well, duh. Yeah, eventually you will atrophy and lose it all.
Yes. You don't use it, you'll lose it.
It's very important as you get older.
So important.
Do you know, and we're going to get into this perfect segue into what I want to talk about. I want to talk about protein and some common myths around protein. Did you know that as we get older, our protein needs increase?
Yeah.
To prevent sarcopenia.
Yes.
Sarcopenia is muscle loss for senior adults usually, when you're seniors that lose muscle. And it's very important to retain as much muscle as possible. It's going to help you with balance and walking and your overall strength and mortality.
Yes.
Your ability to live longer. But in order to sustain muscle, as you get older, your protein needs increase. And I never realized that until I was kind of doing a deep dive on protein.
Interesting.
For this episode.
I didn't know that either. It's good to know these things.
So it's good to know. Now, I know that a lot of people, they claim lots of different protein numbers. The way I look at it with protein is you're better off getting too much than not enough. Mm-hmm. So don't worry about eating too much protein. Again, let's go right into it because I want to talk about some protein myths. But that's one of the common myths I heard for so long is people would say, be careful eating too much protein because you're going to ruin your kidneys. The type of protein consumption that would ruin your kidneys is like hundreds of grams of protein.
That's like me. I weigh, 190. That's like me ingesting 3 times my body weight in protein. Maybe 4 times, 5 times. Maybe it'll be toxic.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot.
Yeah.
It would be a lot.
And you know what's funny about this? I want to stay on this real quick. Is the people who spew this just spew with no data, no research, no nothing. They just talk to talk. That's what's annoying. People make all these assumptions. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. I heard this. I heard that. Oh yeah. Where's your data behind it?
Right.
Where's your proof? Have you done your science? Have you dug into it? No, you're just repeating some other nonsense somebody else said, without having any facts
Yeah.
behind your claim.
Exactly. One of the common
Simple as
things,
that.
and you know what? A lot of it is this. A lot of it is at certain times there were believed to be correct, a certain statement, but then it gets debunked. And unfortunately,
Yes.
people don't stay up to date on the current studies and science. I mean, that as our job, we're
switching.
required to do that. Like
Yes.
I'm required to do that as my job, is constantly be up to date on my information so that I can coach my clients to the best of my ability based on the current science.
Yes. Facts.
So it's okay if you're, maybe 5 years ago I may have preached something, but maybe that has changed because studies change. There's science
changes
to support
Yes.
new things. One of the myths that I used to believe is that you could only absorb 30 grams of protein per meal.
Dude, I remember that. I used to hear the same thing. Like they would say, this was what I would hear. You could eat 50 grams worth, but your body's only going to take in 30 or something like that. Like only use 30 grams of it.
Yeah, it's not true. Your body absorbs all of it. What do you think it does with it?
Yeah.
Or does it like stick it in a pocket, like in your butthole or something? Like, what does it do?
I don't know, but I used to hear that too.
Your body absorbs all of it and takes the nutrients and absorbs all of the protein. Whatever it doesn't need, and if you're in a surplus, it's the last macronutrient to be stored as fat, but it will be stored as fat.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a surplus. If you're not in a surplus, it'll use all of it. Now, where the confusion comes is, does it use all of it for muscle building? No, it doesn't use every single gram for muscle building.
No, of course not.
But that's not necessary.
Yeah.
But yes, your body absorbs all of the protein that you eat. Because absorption is not the same thing as usage for building muscle. So as long as you're eating an adequate amount of protein to support the muscle you have and muscle growth, it doesn't really matter when you eat it. So especially my clients, like you're not bodybuilders, maybe a different subject, maybe a different topic for them. I'm not talking to them. I don't have bodybuilders listening to my podcast. I'm talking about lifestyle clients who are looking to get healthy,
everyday people.
toned, fit bodies, your everyday lifestyle modifications. Don't worry about it. Just eat enough protein. When you're eating adequate amount of protein, timing doesn't matter either. Timing of protein consumption only matters if you are not eating enough. If you're not eating enough, then you better be eating it, after your workouts for that repair process or whatever. But if you're eating enough protein to support your goals, it doesn't matter.
Very important to eat your protein.
And a common thing when it comes to how much protein to eat, and I think this is common just because it's easy, it's eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Yes, heard that too.
That's just because it's easy. That's too much, not too much in a bad way, but more protein than most people need. That's more.
Yeah.
You're more of like around 0.8.
0.8. That's what
per
I was
pound of body weight. But you're better off eating too much than too little.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to eat a gram. I don't give my clients, when I'm doing macros, I don't just shoot for the stars with protein because I don't think that's a sustainable. I like macros for my clients to be sustainable. And so that's why I like to go based on their body composition and their approximate fat percentage, because what I get from that is, okay, if they have about this much body fat, then about this much is lean muscle.
Yeah.
So I base their protein needs off their lean muscle.
I see. Instead of overall weight.
Yes, because then why should I make them eat more protein than they need to? It's going to make it harder to put meals together.
Yes.
Especially because my guidelines are, listen, you better hit your protein goal.
Yeah.
So if they're 170 pounds, a 170-pound woman who's 50% body fat does not need 170 grams of protein.
No.
So if I just did that, gave her that, and I said, okay, Susie Q, here you get to eat 2,000 calories a day, but 170 grams of protein.
That's a lot.
That's going to be really hard to hit. And then she's not going to hit it. And then she's going to feel like she's not being successful. Why not say, you know what? You really only need this much protein.
Yes.
So that those extra calories, guess what? They can go to carbs. They can go to fats. You can make yummier meals.
Exactly. Filling, more nutritious.
Yeah. You can make more balanced, more creative meals. So why just shoot for the stars? I feel like a lot of coaches do that. They just shoot for the stars and give them this absurd amount of protein. Now, I will always say, like, listen, if you go over your protein, totally fine.
Yeah.
But you have to at least hit this, because I'm not shooting for the stars on your protein.
Yes.
So we talked about a little bit protein. Another myth: protein damages kidneys. It does not, unless you have.
How about people with kidney failure?
Yes. So
like
if you have a diagnosed disorder, you should get guidelines from your doctor.
Yes.
On what type of protein. There was a study here. How much protein do you think you eat?
How much do I eat?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to be honest, maybe like about 150 grams. I try to get in 30 to 40 a meal. I probably do 3-4 meals. 2 shakes, 60. Yeah, probably about 150 grams. And I weigh probably about 190. Is that good enough?
Would you say how much?
I probably ingest about 150, and I weigh about 190.
You should be
maybe 1-to-1.
You should be eating more because you have a lot of muscle on your body.
Yeah,
you don't have a lot of body fat. I have to figure yours out.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what your number
yeah, we got to
is.
do mine.
I'm thinking that I've always told you that. I felt like you've been under on your protein. You've been better lately.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I'm not bad for an old man though, right? I'm almost 50.
No, but I'm saying joking, I feel like you'd be shocked at the difference it will make if you increase that protein up to what you need.
We're gonna break it down
because you have
Especially how active I am.
Okay, this is a good one. I love this one.
What do you got there?
Another myth. Supplemental protein is different from protein from food.
Meaning
it is
protein
not different.
Powders.
It's not different. No. It's whey. Your body doesn't know. Like if you're getting a protein powder, you're getting whey protein.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Body doesn't know if you got that from Greek yogurt, if you got that
chicken, from steak. It
doesn't know.
It doesn't know?
No.
You sure?
No, but there's different types of protein in steak. You're going to get other.
Yes.
This is the difference.
True.
The difference is if you're getting your protein consumption from chicken or something, you're also getting other nutrients from those things and other protein sources. You're getting some collagen, depending on what it is, right?
Yes.
So yes, you're getting more things from other things.
Like chicken, you get and steak, you don't get iron, right? That's different from chicken.
Right,
so
right.
Chicken is not high in iron.
Not high in iron like steak.
So.
But there's things like different types of protein that make a difference. There's complete proteins, but like a complete protein is a complete protein.
Yeah.
Whey, eggs, animal proteins, right? Like the protein you get from chicken, from steak or whatever. So there is a difference between that and supplemental proteins that are not complete proteins. A lot of times vegan proteins are not complete.
No.
Soy protein.
Beans have protein, but they're not a complete protein.
It's not a complete protein.
Yes.
A complete protein means it has all of the essential amino acids.
Yes.
An incomplete protein is missing some essential amino acids. Complete proteins are the most beneficial for muscle hypertrophy. I always say that word wrong.
Hypertrophy, yeah. Basically making your muscles grow. Yeah, from muscle growth. Hypertrophy.
Now, if you eat adequate amount of protein, not all of it has to be complete. If you're eating a good amount of protein, it doesn't all have to be complete. It can be from multiple sources, from grains, from beans, from animal. That's the best thing to do. Unless you're on like a vegan diet or something like that, it's good to get it from multiple sources because you're going to get different nutritional profiles from different types of proteins.
That's like those falafel balls you're eating, right?
Yes.
Those are the chickpeas?
Yeah, chickpeas. There's protein in chickpeas.
So there's a different kind of protein right there.
Different kind of protein, exactly.
Is that a complete?
I don't think so.
Oh.
At the end of the day, the protein that you're getting from your whole food source is the same type of protein that you're getting from your protein powder, whether it's whey, casein, pea, soy, etc. So if you get pea protein powder or you eat peas, same protein. The pea protein powder is more concentrated. You'd have to eat a gallon of peas to get a decent amount of pea protein, or then you get a more concentrated version. That's really the only difference. So like a whey protein powder, it's more concentrated. You're going to get more bang for your buck in terms of protein calorie, ratio. Yeah. So you can have like a delicious protein powder, like Ghost Lifestyle, 150 calories for a scoop, 25 grams of protein.
Yes.
If you got 25 grams of protein from a piece of steak, it's going to be 450 calories for that piece of steak. Will you get other things from it? Yes. So, but it's not good to get all of your protein from steak because then you're going to get a lot of fat. You're going to get a lot of calories. That's why it's important to mix it up. And don't freak out thinking that, oh, all of my protein has to be from Whole Foods. That is a myth. It does not have to be.
Or, you know what, there's another a myth out there that I heard. I won't say whose name. I was conversation with my buddy. He's like, yeah, man, I think people shouldn't eat too much red meat because it's causing too much cancer in this country. I'm like, how do you know this? Are you just assuming, or is this what you're hearing? Did you see it on the news? Where did you get this information from? Like, how do you know this?
Yeah.
Or is that just an assumption?
Again, it's an assumption.
Exactly.
Because there is an increase. Seems to me to be an increase in colon cancer among young people.
Yes.
It is concerning.
Yes.
I'd like to know.
So, why?
I've looked, and they don't know for sure. There is not a lot of clear evidence. They're guessing right now.
So it used to be what back in the day? 55, 50 to get your colon checked?
Yeah. But now people are getting it younger and younger.
30s and 40s.
So they say, like when my dad went home, they said, listen, limit red meat. They did tell him that, but he could still eat red meat. It's not necessarily directly correlated to red meat. Look, I don't eat a lot of red meat. Very little red meat.
Yeah, you don't eat a lot of red meat.
And I had precancerous polyps. So what is that coming from for me?
Yeah.
Who's you know what I mean?
They need to dig deeper into this. Why all of a sudden colon cancer in young people
they are digging deeper to try to figure it out for sure. But I don't think they know yet, so I don't think it's good to make assumptions yet on what it is because they really do not know. But they did tell me this, which I thought was interesting. There seems to be, this is what the doctor said, and I have not read any studies, so I'm prefacing this with, I have no idea, but maybe look into it. The doctor says there seems to be a correlation with barbecued meats.
Really?
Because of the carcinogens or whatever from the barbecue.
From the
yes.
itself.
Yes. So barbecued meats, the way they're prepared, avoid those. I'm just saying that's what he said.
I hope they don't come up with a new study like they say, avoid cooking in the air fryer because I mostly use the air fryer to cook my meats.
But it's air. It's not like
that's true. It's hot air.
It's not like
you're right.
It's air. It's
so
not like it's not the
there's
microwave.
No flame. There's no flame.
Could be this is related to the microwave.
Yeah,
the
we don't
chemicals
know.
that infuse in the food
That's
could
true.
be from cooking, right? Teflon in our cooking. It could be so many different things.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've figured it out yet.
I know.
Okay, here's another myth. Protein makes you bulky or overly muscular. I have had people say that. I've had clients tell me that they always gain weight when they bump up their protein. So if you gain weight, if you bump up your protein, it is likely you are not digesting it well. So I highly recommend digestive enzymes or some sort of gut health supplement. Make sure you are eating enough fiber. Make sure you are regular. You need to be going number 2 every single day. If you are not going number 2 every single day, don't just say, oh, I just don't go every day. No. Think about everything that you eat every day. That's got to come out.
I wonder if there's any correlation with people who are constipated a lot versus people like myself who are never constipated. Like
yes.
I'm never.
To colon
like
cancer?
my colon was clean.
Yes,
remember?
absolutely.
Zero.
That's a precursor.
And you
any digestive issues at all are a precursor to colon cancer. Because yes, if you have toxic waste, because that's what it is.
Toxic waste.
It's toxic.
Your body's trying to push it out.
Sitting in your colon, it who knows what it's causing? It could cause like it's rotting in there.
Yes, you don't know what's growing in there. You're right.
It could be, causing lesions on the wall of the intestines and infections that get irregular cell growth. Who knows?
So that's why people a lot of times don't feel good at all. It's all a lot of times in the gut health. They just don't realize it.
Yes.
A lot of it's in the gut health.
For sure. So when they think that the protein makes them gain weight, it is likely because they're not digesting it well. If you just recently bumped up your protein, your body doesn't have the digestive enzymes intact, ready to digest that protein. So you have to help the body along. It will adjust. If it knows you're eating more protein, it will begin to develop the proper enzymes in order to break it down. But until it does, you're going to need to really give it some aid. And that's just another thing people don't realize, is especially when you're eating a high protein diet, your fiber has to be on point.
Yes.
It has to be on point.
I do remember when I was on a high protein, not to cut you off, sorry. I do remember when I was on a high protein diet that Matt had me on and I was eating a lot of red meat, remember? Mm-hmm. Very little carbs. You were not too much fiber. I was a little constipated. I had a little hard time.
Yeah, but you weren't
then my body
fiber.
Adjusted.
You weren't eating enough fiber.
Yeah.
Got to eat fiber, you guys. You got to have a fiber supplement. A gut health supplement is essential in your daily routine. Fiber is essential.
Oatmeal in there. Throw some oatmeal, eat some beans. That stuff helps. I'm telling you, it helps me go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's just so important. And so a lot of times people blame protein, but it's really because it's
not the protein's fault.
It's not.
Don't blame the protein.
And so let's touch on, it does not make you bulky. Protein by itself does not build muscle. If you do not exercise and you eat a bunch of protein, the protein just gets used as energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a surplus, the protein gets stored as fat.
Yep.
If you're not in a surplus, it gets used as energy.
Yes.
That's it. Very simple. It does nothing for muscles unless you are in the gym. It will not grow your muscles.
I wonder if steroids, not to get off topic, I wonder if testosterone's the same. Like if guys just inject and don't lift, will they gain muscle?
No.
No, right? You have to lift. You got to train. Yeah. I figured that.
You gotta create those micro tears in your muscle fibers, and then your muscles need to know what's telling your muscles to grow is the usage of them. You have to use them and tell your muscles that you need them to be stronger because you're putting them under some strain. Yes. Your body's so smart. If it knows, like, oh my gosh, Mike is going to be lifting this heavy weight again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we want it to be a little easier if he comes back and lifts the same weight. So when we repair, we're going to repair a little bigger as long as there's protein there. Yes. That's where the protein comes into play. Because if you're not eating adequate protein and you worked out and you ripped open your muscle fibers, but there's no amino acids there to pull those muscles back together, and they'll fuse back together ever so slightly bigger and stronger. Very little, but ever so slightly. That's what happens. But if there's not the protein there to do it, you will waste the workout.
Yes. True.
But protein without the workout is not going to grow your muscles.
Yeah.
You know.
And you notice how people are built different cultures, different regions, depending on the type of work they do, like farmers. You know, like farm boy strength. You ever see the football players? They're big. You know,
yes.
He's a farm. He's probably comes from a farm.
Yeah.
And that means like their bodies are built different. So they need, they're throwing those hay bales around and all that. So they need adequate amounts of protein. That's why they do those lumberjack breakfasts. I guess that came
exactly.
From.
They
Steak,
do that
eggs,
like
potatoes.
Steak, potatoes, and then they're using the muscles. Yes. That's why they get big, right?
Freaks.
You have to. It's not just protein by itself. It's a marriage. But I will also say, if you're struggling to get your protein in, on the days that you don't get adequate protein, that's the day that you want to supplement with BCAAs.
Branched chain amino acids.
Yeah. So BCAAs is your branched chain amino acids. So that's what's it's like the building blocks for your muscles. A lot of people will supplement with that every day. Not necessary to have it every single day if you're hitting your protein target. But it is good to have it on days that you are lacking in protein.
Yeah.
So that is one supplement I would say to incorporate but don't use it as a crutch, because really you need protein. You need whey. You need, protein, eggs, especially and chicken, collagen. Beef. Oh, another good one is people think is collagen. Can that contribute to my protein goal? It's not going to give you the same muscle building benefits as collagen. So you shouldn't be getting a large portion of your daily protein requirement from collagen. Okay. Because that is not what's going to give you the gains. It is okay if it makes up a piece of it. So if you have a protein goal of, 120 grams of protein per day and you're getting 10 of that from collagen, that's perfectly fine. You don't then have to have 130 grams, 120 whey, an animal, 10 or collagen or whatever. Yeah. You can have some of it, a small amount, come from collagen, but you don't want to have the bulk of your protein being collagen or incomplete proteins, because that's not going to give you the changes that you want to see in the gym. It's not gonna, give you that hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. It's a weird word.
Why is that such a hard thing for me to say?
Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy.
But you go all at once. Say it all at once. Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy.
It's weird, but it's really hyper and then trophy. But they say hypertrophy.
That's why it's hard for me to say it.
I know.
Hypertrophy. Okay,
basically
guys.
Muscle building, you guys.
Yeah. So those are the myths on protein. Here, I'll leave you with this. How much protein should you be eating then? Well, it's going to be somewhere between 0.6 to 1.1 per per pound of body weight, grams per pound of body weight, but it depends on your body composition. I wish there was an answer I could give you, like a blanket.
No, can't do that.
Calculator. If someone just tells you a blanket number, it's fine if you're erring on the side of having more than you need, and that's what people do. But it's less sustainable if you, like, if someone said, Jeanine, you have to eat 150 grams of protein a day, just because that sounded good, right?
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of protein. That will make a big impact in my daily eating.
Yes,
and if I don't have to, because my body doesn't need that much for my current muscle volume.
Yeah.
And it's just going to turn the extra into energy, carbohydrates anyway. I'd rather just eat the carbs. I don't want to eat all this extra protein. My body's going to turn it into energy. Yeah. Like, no, I'd rather just eat the carbs because then I can have some more balance.
Facts.
And that's why custom macro assessments are good rather than these macro calculators on the website, because you're going to get that. You're going to get a lot of protein. I have a lot of people come to me saying what their current macros are. I'm like, the calories are pretty close, but you don't need that much protein. Like, you're not that.
What are you at? Like 1-to-1 ratio?
I'm about a 1-to-1 right now because I'm pretty lean. I don't have a lot of body fat.
Yes.
So I aim for, on a good day, 120 grams of protein, but 110 to 120.
Yeah. You're right there.
Yeah. So that's what I have.
Yes.
But somebody that is, 40% body fat or something, they don't need that much.
No.
Because a big portion of their body weight is fat. Your fat doesn't need protein to sustain itself. Only your muscles do.
Yep.
So a lot of people just don't realize that. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit something today about protein.
If not, you can always reach out to my wife
or you.
Or me.
You always want to get...
But you're the one you're the macro coach, not me. Reach out to you.
Reach out to my wife, people. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you again for all the support.
Yes,
the podcast
please.
Numbers have been absolutely
thank you guys.
Amazing.
Thank you. We're very humbled and blessed and grateful. And I know you guys want to help us grow. I know you're fans and you support us, and thank you.
I know. There's so many people who've literally been listening since episode 1, and it makes me cringe sometimes because I think, like, oh my gosh, I would not want to go listen to my first episode. I literally recorded it on some janky microphone, sitting Indian style, cross-legged on my bed.
But that's the beauty of it. Like I said, look what Joe Rogan said. They set up a laptop on a webcam, smoked hella weed in his living room, and were just talking shit. They knew nothing about the podcast. He had no idea where it was even going to go.
Isn't that crazy?
He doesn't even know why he started. He just wanted an outlet to talk shit.
Though.
They just wanted to talk smack.
What possessed me?
It was your idea.
I know, but why?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
You had it in your head, like, let's get a podcast. Let's start. Let's start talking.
I actually don't know why. I wish I could remember exactly why. Because, like, why add...
And at first, I was kind of like, I don't know. Remember, I was kind of like...
Yeah, and now we love it. Like, I love it.
I enjoy it, yes.
I really love it. I love this. I love our listeners. Thank you so much for all the reviews. If you haven't, please go to Apple Podcasts, tap on that 5 stars, write a review if you want. You don't have to, but just tapping on the 5 stars helps us.
Please. Refer us, talk to your friends, family, everybody.
Yeah, and other than that, tune in for our shorter episodes as well. We will be coming out with another episode this week called The Coffee Break, and it is going to be on sleep.
Sleep, very important. Sleep.
Yes, and how important sleep is, how much you need, how to get better sleep, things like that. We're going to be talking about that this week. And one other thing I wanted to add, I know these episodes are super long and not everyone wants to hear all of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I do now break it out into chapters. So if you go in the description, you can see the timestamps for the different topics. So that will help. And on YouTube, it's really easy to navigate to the different chapters. So you can skip over certain topics.
Super easy. Just fast forward and wind and it tells you.
I
do it all the time.
Forward. Oh. It's chapters. It's a button. You just you hit the pause button and you could skip right over to the chapter.
I see.
Yeah. So it's a little different.
I did not know that because I see it when I'm certain things and I'll like fast forward something and it'll say like different chapters.
I did.
Or it'll say most replayed too. I'll go back and watch a clip and it'll say most replayed.
Yeah, but I did chapters. That's not what.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.